You've seen the photos of people posing on the beach with their laptops in paradise, hashtag YOLO, hashtag one-way ticket, hashtag work from anywhere. But what they didn't show you were any of the struggles that they experienced before or after they snapped that Photoshop pic. I'm Kristin. I've been to more than 60 countries in the last 20 years, and in this video, I'm going to break down for you the top 8 struggles of things that I've experienced personally or that I've witnessed in my globe-trotting friends, and at the end, I'm going to tell you how to overcome them. So as I go through this list, let me know in the comments below if you've experienced any of the same struggles or if there's anything I left out. The first challenge of full-time travel is the logistical nightmare that it presents. Things that you probably take for granted on a day-to-day basis all of a sudden become a lot more difficult. This can be anything from mixing up your hotel bookings to flight delays and cancellations, trouble finding Wi-Fi, issues with your Airbnb, to where you're going to go to do your laundry, how you're going to receive things in the mail, and then things like visa issues, work permits, passport stamps expiring, and all sorts of things. And once you overcome all of those initial hurdles, some of them which become recurring problems throughout the years, you're going to get to the second challenge of full-time travel, which is just a general feeling of exhaustion. If you've ever felt like you needed a vacation from your vacation, a life of full-time travel can kind of feel like that, but just drawn out. And this depends on how fast you're traveling. It could be related to jet lag, navigating from point A to point B, meeting new people. It could come from just never having your own bed to sleep in. You just end up expending a lot of energy. And so managing your energy becomes increasingly important the longer you're in this lifestyle of full-time travel. And being born out of issue number 2 comes the third challenge of full-time travel, and this is the difficulty of establishing a daily routine. When you live at home, let's say you graduated from high school or college and you went into the workforce and you've had the same job ever since, your day-to-day routine gets so embedded that yes, sometimes it can get really boring, but also you end up doing a lot of things without even thinking about them. The order in which you wake up, brush your teeth, what you eat for breakfast, how you get to work, all of these things become automated. But when you travel full-time, in every new place, you have both the opportunity and the obligation of setting up a new routine. Not having a solid daily routine brings with it a range of issues, from just a general feeling of ungroundedness to a lack of productivity at work, weight gain from not cooking your meals at home, eating out too much. And then the longer you're traipsing the world, the closer you're going to get to the fourth challenge, which is loneliness. In recent years, this has gotten easier to manage with technology, with FaceTime, with Zoom, with messaging, but virtual interaction, as we all know by now, doesn't take the place of face-to-face interaction. Loneliness can definitely take a toll on your mental health, and then that also can contribute more to feeling tired and unmotivated and less productive. Now, a benefit of full-time travel is that you end up with friends all over the world, but that can kind of take the place of having really, really strong bonds with people from your hometown. That brings us to the fifth challenge of full-time travel: dating. This topic probably merits its own video, but I've talked about this a lot with my full-time traveling friends, and it's definitely harder to establish a long-term relationship when you're fully nomadic. If you live in a country long-term, this can get easier, but when you have a fixed departure date, dating is really hard. You might meet more people and date more people, but the people that you date, you might not see again, and you might only be able to hang out with them for as long as your visa stamp is good for. One thing that can make your life a bit easier on the road, though, is being able to manage your online business from anywhere. That's where companies like Zolo come in. Zolo makes it easy for freelancers and professionals to automate their invoicing and administration and focus on what you do best. Whether you want to set up an online company, put your accounting on autopilot, or just have access to a team of people who understand your needs and can help answer your questions, Zolo has an option for you. Check out their services at the link in the description below and find out how to get a 220 euro credit on your company registration free. And then one thing that I definitely didn't expect when I became a full-time traveler is that I would experience FOMO. So typically you would experience FOMO if you're maybe scrolling on social media, you see people having the time of their lives and you're stuck in your cubicle that day or snowed in at your house in Minnesota. But when you become nomadic, you can experience FOMO in a surprising number of ways. You might start experiencing FOMO from normal life, and you might start to miss those everyday, regular life experiences that you don't really have when you're just traveling the world full time. So you can experience like a family and friends type of FOMO. You can start to experience a career FOMO, and then you can also experience FOMO related to what your other traveling friends are doing. Something bigger, better, more expensive that either you can't access or you can't afford or you can't get there. This is obviously a first world problem, but it is a thing when you travel full time. And then the seventh thing that you might experience, especially if you become an extreme minimalist traveler, is you might start to miss your stuff. Maybe your hobby is something crafts related, or you like gardening, painting, fixing up old cars, cooking and entertaining for people, and you have like all of your stuff in your house and your kitchen. Since I've set up a temporary home base in Miami, especially during the lockdowns, I would go for a walk around my neighborhood and I would always admire these people's giant garden in front of their house. And finally, after more of a year of being back in the US, I decided to sprout my own vegetables and grow them on my balcony. That's a little thing that I never would have considered before when I was traveling, because what are you going to do with a plant? You can't bring it with you. So you can't have plants. You can't have pets unless you can carry your dog with you, for example. And you can't have anything that's heavy that you can't put in your suitcase. So in one sense, this lightens the load, but it also limits your options, especially when it comes to pursuing hobbies that you might love. And the eighth thing that happens when you travel full time is inevitably some form of travel burnout. The beauty of the time that we live in right now is that you can travel by yourself anywhere in the world with no return date, no end date. Humans were not necessarily built for that. When you think back to the original nomads thousands of years ago, they were traveling for a reason. They were looking for food, or they were trying to defend or conquer a territory, and they were also traveling as a community. But the difference with full-time travelers of today is that many travel by themselves. So if you're just traveling for fun or adventure or personal growth, and you don't have that built-in community with you, it can feel like an overall sense of dissatisfaction, anxiety, unease, loneliness, sadness. You start to kind of lose the magic of what's happening around you and where you are. This is something that my friend Eric and I talked about in my podcast about what he observed in Anthony Bourdain's eyes in the last episodes of his TV show, that he had started to really lose that love of travel. And he probably was burnt out. I mean, I think that show was on for at least 10 or 12 years, and he was traveling 250 plus days per year. And this kind of travel burnout can be very insidious. It can sneak up on you in a lot of different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you hit the wall like in a professional burnout or a physical burnout. It can be something that comes along over the course of months or even years. So how can you prevent or overcome these challenges if you're traveling full time? I have 4 tips for you. So the first thing is to figure out why you're traveling in the first place. It does sound exciting to just book a one-way ticket to Thailand and never look back, but if you are going on this trip with no end date in mind and no real goals or intentions for why you're traveling, then you can start to get lost along the way. So it's really important to think about why you're doing this, why you want to accomplish this lifestyle, and what you want to get out of it, so that you have some sort of way to measure if you're going off course. The second thing is to recognize that travel in and of itself is not going to solve any problems. Traveling to solve your problems is just like getting married or having a baby to save a relationship. It's usually not going to work. Socrates says, "Why do you wonder that globetrotting does not help you, seeing that you always take yourself with you? The reason which set you wandering is at your heels." There will always be ups and downs. You might feel lonely sometimes. You might feel FOMO sometimes. You might start to think that the grass is always greener, but it's really just life. So as long as you can roll with the punches, persevere through the ups and downs, and know that this is not a solution for everything. This is just an activity that you're doing for a specific purpose, then that's going to make the journey a lot easier and more fun. My third tip is to slow down. By slowing down or even stopping or taking a break from travel, all of this can help you sustain a travel lifestyle longer. If you found that your experience with full-time travel has come full circle, it's okay to call it quits. You can always go back home and you can always change your mind and start traveling again later. And my fourth tip is to prioritize human connection. If you're traveling really fast and you're not integrating with the culture, you're not meeting locals, and you're not focusing on human relationships, you're gonna feel alone and you're gonna start to get a lot of those other symptoms that we talked about earlier. So wherever you are, really try to plant some roots there. Try to get to know the local community and also try to make friends with other travelers so that you can meet with them around the world. Also remember your friends from home. Remember your friends from childhood. Remember your family members. Just because you're going out and traveling and having this new experience, don't forget where you came from. So know your why, recognize that life is life and travel won't solve everything, slow down or stop when you need to, and focus on your friends and family. And don't take this video as an excuse to not travel, because that's not what this is about. Full-time solo or nomadic travel is an experience that our ancestors could have only dreamed of in their wildest dreams. They probably could have never conceived of what we are able to do today. And so seize that freaking day. Go out there and travel, have those experiences, have that fun, but just know when it's time to take a break. I'll leave you with a quote by Seneca, one of my favorite Stoic philosophers, and he says, "That which you seek to live well is found everywhere." The good life is found everywhere. The good life is found through travel. The good life is found in you. Are there any struggles that I left off this list that you've experienced, or any solutions you've found that you can share with us? Let us know in the comments below. Give this video a like so more travelers can find it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos that help you work online and travel the world. Another tip if you come to Santorini is don't look like this. Make sure that you take a shower and dress up so you fit in with the glam crowd.